Ghostbusters is directed by Paul Feig, and it's an 80s movie on ghosts that people really loved, and now it's back again, but this time around, it's 4 women instead of 4 dudes. Yeah. When strange apparitions start occurring in modern society, paranormal researchers Abby Yates, played by Melissa McCarthy, and physicist Erin Gilbert, played by Kristen Wigg, get to work. Alongside the help of longtime New Yorker Patty Tolan and engineer Jillian Holtzmann, it's these 4 Ghostbusters that must team up together to stop these mischievous ghosts from wreaking havoc on New York City. Going into this movie, I didn't have too many expectations. I'll be honest guys, I saw the first Ghostbusters when I was much younger, and for me personally, I didn't keep it that close to my heart like many others did, and I was really crazy about the brand. That being said, I didn't let that hold me back from trying to enjoy this film. And right before we get into this review guys, let me just address this one thing. This film was getting so much hate. Like a huge sum of hate just served on a plate. I don't think this was due to just one single factor. I think it was like a couple of things that really contributed to this. It might have been just because this is a reboot of a beloved property that many people might think didn't really need to be rebooted at all. Personally for me, I like to think Ghostbusters being up there with, you know, like those big tentpole properties like Terminator and Jurassic Park and Alien vs. Predator. It's not connected to the original Ghostbusters or that whole lore and story at all, and it might have angered some people, making it seem just like a mere cash grab. And another reason why some people might have not liked this is because it was 4 women starring in the film. Oh, nope, yep, it's 2016. When I heard about this, I just like to think that it's a very vocal and small minority who don't like the fact that it's 4 women being stars in the movie. One legitimate reason why some people might have been turned off, however, is because of the first trailer that we got for this. I'll be honest guys, the first trailer that I saw for this movie, I didn't like it at all. I actually thought it was bad and really kind of like put me off with this film initially. Anyway, that's enough rambling. Ghostbusters, was it terrible? Was it garbage? Was it trash? Were the naysayers correct? No. I actually think they were kind of wrong just giving this movie a ton of hate before they even got to watch it. The new Ghostbusters is fun, funny, and enjoyable for the most part. That being said, was this great? No. I honestly thought this movie was just okay. Performance-wise, I thought everyone did a solid job. Melissa McCarthy, Kate McKinnon, Kristen Wigg, and Leslie Jones were great. The chemistry between the 4 of them worked really well, and when it came to the comedic moments between each other, they hit, and they hit fairly well. Using a ton of like pop culture references, movies, and some plain out just funny improv bits. And it was fairly consistent. I found myself laughing throughout the film, you know, as it kept going along. With regards to comedy, I like to think that each of the characters had their high points, although some did a little better than others. And just seeing the 4 of them in their classic Ghostbusters getup and attacking ghosts was just really dope. Another person who did a good job in this to me was Chris Hemsworth. I kind of think Chris Hemsworth's been kind of iffy apart from the MCU. I have a couple things to say about his character in this movie, but I'll leave that for a little bit later on. But I will say though, he had some of the funniest comedic moments. With regards to special effects, you know, this is Ghostbusters, you're catching ghosts with some like really crazy plasma things. You're gonna see some dope special effects and sound design. It's been nearly 30 years since the original Ghostbusters, and you would imagine that the film would have progressed and looked better visually and sound-wise. And this is exactly what you get in this Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters Busting Ghosts looked fantastic. From the visuals to the sound design, this movie looked and sounded great. Also, just watching these new Ghostbusters trying out their new equipment and seeing all the effects from it and like how it works was just pretty cool to see. And lastly, I thought this was just an enjoyable movie. I found myself laughing more than I thought I would have, honestly. And overall, I had a good time watching this, especially with the audience, because my whole entire audience was like packed, like to the brim. Like it was crazy. I think from all the movies that I've seen this year, Ghostbusters probably had the most packed theater on the Friday night. And the audience was like loving it. They were like laughing like crazy. It was kind of like, oh. But of course guys, like I said earlier, this isn't all butterflies and rainbows. It does have problems that I do think hold it back from being great. Although I thought the beginning of this movie was alright, and I actually really like the second act, by the third act it just drags and becomes fairly boring. The film starts just feeling long and falls down by its end. Like I said, the main 4 Ghostbusters, I thought their performances, I thought they did a good job. But I did have issues with the way that they were written at times with some of them. Honestly, at times I felt like the script kind of restricted some of these people from bringing out the laughs like I know they can do. I kind of feel like some of these characters could have been tweaked a little bit to get a better performance out of the main 4 Ghostbusters. I mentioned it earlier guys, I like Chris Hemsworth's character, but after I watched the movie and I was like kind of digesting it, I could help but think the way they portray like the 3, 4, 5 male characters in this movie, they're either cowards, dicks, or complete and utter idiots. Like we're talking negative IQs. Like literally. I guess that's what they were going for, and it didn't really bother me too much, but I just thought at times it just got a little bit ridiculous. Also guys, in this film, they don't make you forget that this is a Ghostbusters movie. As you're watching this, you notice that they really push down like references and like nods to the old movies. And the way they kind of do it is almost like shooting shots at the old movie. Not trying to spoil, but you do get some OG Ghostbusters stuff in this, and while I digged it for the most part, sometimes it was just kind of unnecessary and felt very forced. The villain didn't really do it for me. He was just kind of there to be there and just be like, but I will say though, one thing, the actor who played that guy, he played like the perfect like little shit disturbing guy. Like, it was perfect. This reboot was not all that necessary. If you think about it, like just looking at the story and what happens, it didn't really need to be called Ghostbusters. It easily could have been a different movie that just, you know, drew inspiration or kind of nodded to Ghostbusters and been something completely different, and not been held down to forced references or copy story elements or do this and that. It'd probably be original and make a more interesting and unique story. I'm just saying this because this movie didn't really build upon it in many regards. However, going into the future, I'm actually looking forward to future Ghostbusters stories, however with a better premise and overall better movie, and I do think there's potential going forward since they already got their feet wet with this one. Overall, guys, I had fun with Ghostbusters. I didn't think it was that great, but I also definitely don't think that this film deserved the kind of hate that it was receiving. If you like the original Ghostbusters, I think you will enjoy this so long as you don't have like expectations going into it that it's going to be at the same level or even better. If you want to just go and watch it for what it is, I think you'll have a great time. I'm going to go ahead and give Ghostbusters a 6.8 out of 10. And that's my review of Ghostbusters, guys. What did you think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Did you see it already? Are you debating on whether or not to see it? But thank you guys for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, you can leave a like and subscribe if you have not already. Also, guys, feel free to check me out at my social media. Links down in the description below. Almost at 10K. Woo! And that's it for me today, guys. I'll see you next time.